Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe.
Welcome, all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends. It's the House of the Unusual podcast. I'm your host, Joe Pavlansky, coming to you from an undisclosed location. Unfortunately, I cannot be with the group today. I'm going to turn it over to my good buddy, Eddie Guevara, for the introductions and the setup for what's going to turn out to be a great topic of discussion today. So, Eddie, take it away.
Hey guys, how's everybody out there? Hey Chuck and Cheri, how are you guys?
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we have a very interesting show today. As everybody knows, we're actually airing every 2 weeks now, and we're going to continue to do some improvements as we're going forward. Our show is actually going to take a little bit of a turn. It's surprising what we're working on, but we shall have it probably, I think, in the next podcast. It's going to be a little slight different format than what we're doing. But I think you guys will like it. We're going to make it so it's more entertaining, more engaging with people. So that's something I'm working on right now. As everybody knows, if I mentioned it before, but I'm going to be having a table in this upcoming Chiller Theater. And because of that, I'm actually revamping the entire business model, working on all these new projects that I'm trying to put into effect so that when the new when Chiller comes around, things are going to be changing, and there's going to be, and of course, as I'm getting closer and closer to the date, I'm actually going to have some YouTube videos and stuff concerning the stuff that that will be available. There's some exciting stuff, and there's something that I have that's very special for Chiller, that it's a legendary item. It's even been on Ancient Aliens. I'm not going to mention what it is just yet, but it will be coming out within the next week or so when I finish the advertising for it and all that stuff. I will start mentioning it. So the next podcast will definitely be very exciting. I hope you guys can tune in for. Now, before we start, I just wanted to say, for anybody out there who hasn't gotten their latest copy of Stupid Comics, that's STOOOPID, go online, order yours. Ski is working, I think, on the next issue. If I'm correct, I think it's issue 10. But I'm not 100% sure right now, so I'm saying this, but log online, go online. There's always a link in our description. And also, guys, we look forward to having you guys tune in. It'd be nice if you guys can write us some information, email us at houseoftheunusual@gmail.com. Give us any ideas you'd like to hear and anything latest. So other than that, Chuck and Cheri, let's go. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, we've been very busy. I'm gearing up for my Halloween shows. I built a side table. It's got like fabric on it, like spider web cloth and stuff. It's like a little side magic table. So that's in the works. And I'm putting together some spooky stuff. So I'm excited. I checked out some different stores like Home Goods, I believe it was called, and a few other places, Home Depot, checking out some toys to see if I could modify anything for the shows. That's how I get a lot of my ideas. So like if anybody is interested in doing things like that, that could actually save you a lot of money, and it's very creative. It's a lot of fun to build things. And of course, we're babysitting once in a while in our spare time. Our little grandson Roman.
I do every Thursday. He's my baby doll. Yeah, we had a really nice weekend.
One of Chuck's corners actually is Roman's first magic show, I think it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was so sweet.
That's airing in about 2 weeks from now.
Awesome.
Interesting. Chuck, what you said right now, which is really interesting about building things. There is, I purchased, first they tell me I shouldn't be buying more stuff, but my wife and daughter actually went to Home Goods that you mentioned, and they seen this gigantic haunted house. It's like 2 feet tall.
Okay.
It weighs about 50 pounds.
Oh my.
And I bought it and it lights up, but I was thinking it would be great to buy the haunted house that's sold in Big Lots, the one that talks and it has, and it's really great. It'd be great to take out the electronics and put it into this other big one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think that would be phenomenal. You know which haunted house you're talking about? I think you bought one last year, like I did.
yeah. I do know exactly which one you're. Yeah, it's
That's
amazing.
pretty
It's
cool.
amazing some of the stuff they come up with. And I also went to the Halloween spirit store. Didn't seem like they had anything really good there, to be honest with you. It wasn't quite up to par, I think, as some of the other years, but it was neat walking around. I mean, I bought a couple little things, and I took some pictures and stuff. I like the Exorcist stuff with Reagan, where she turns her head around and stuff like that. But I like to tinker around with this. I like to step on the foot pads to make them activate. It's just a lot of fun. I walked around there, I guess, for about an hour about a week ago. So that was kind of neat.
Actually, it's funny as you may say that, because there are a couple of new items in Home Goods that I don't know if you've noticed. They've been making Frankenstein, but they kind of done a little twist to him. They've kind of changed his clothing a little bit.
They got his clothing different a little. Yeah,
Was he
right.
wearing plaid?
No, it's actually the funny thing about it. I was I looked at one or two. I said, nah, I'm not interested. They
Yeah.
have the bride and him dancing in one episode, which looks like Frankenstein. They have
Right.
the regular look, but they have one where he's looking kind of sideways up to the sky, and I'm like, what the heck? But I guess that's because they're trying. You got to remember, you can't just sell the old same stuff.
No, you got to change it around a little bit, see
Yeah.
if it works. Yeah, you got to test the waters a little bit. One of the Chuck's Corners coming up, we just sent you. We were just telling you, we sent you down the raw footage is The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. So you'll see me do part of the poem, and there's some
magic.
Yeah, there's some spooky magic in there.
I even scream.
Yeah, yeah,
realize it.
that scream was a genuine scream. There was a book that caught on fire,
Oh my gosh.
and
It really caught on fire.
it's funny. Oh my goodness.
That is funny. You know what's even that's really funny they say that, because I went talking about Home Goods and Marshalls, they do have a very good variety of Halloween stuff, including Big Lots. Those are my three favorite places to go. I know Target's a little late in the coming on with stuff, but
yeah, you're right.
But when Target comes out, they usually put out some pretty good stuff. But here's the thing. They came up with an 8-foot, I think 8.5-foot skeleton that actually reacts to motion, and it's sold in Home Goods. But what Home Goods does is, when things get off the truck, they rip up the box, throw it out, and build the product, because it's too big to just keep it in a box.
Right.
And I saw it, and I'm like, I gotta get this, man. It's going for $200, so it's not like a really hard to get thing. So I said, you know what? It's beautiful. I gotta get it. So I called the manager. I'm like, do you have the box for this? And she goes, no, we throw out the box. And I said, oh my God. I said, when are you getting new? And she goes, every Tuesday. I think we should get one this Tuesday. So I gave her my phone number. I said, can you please give me a call or text me the moment one comes out with a box, and I'll come and get it. Do not open it.
Right.
And she goes, okay. As I'm saying that, guess who's standing behind me just watching me? My wife. And she goes, you're not getting anything. And guess what? I didn't get it.
You didn't get
But I thought it was funny, because I'm like, how the heck did she come at that same exact moment? Really funny.
You're gonna have to go Tuesday when they're unloading the trucks.
No, I know, but unfortunately, you know what? They sold out the one they had there. I haven't seen any new ones, so I it's going to be one of those. But you know what? The problem, it's huge. It's 8 feet tall. It's not going to even fit in I don't think my roof is that tall. Feeling, I mean. But the point is that it's a big item. It's beautiful, but what are you going to do? They also make another version. They sell at Home Depot for $300. That's about 15 feet tall. And if you guys go on YouTube, last year, it's so hilarious. There's a lady that has a small, I think it's a Ford. What the heck type of Ford is it? A Fiesta. I think it's a Ford Fiesta. And she tries to steal one, which she actually did.
You're kidding.
I think those are small cars, right?
Yeah, it's a small car, and she's trying to put in the 15-foot skeleton. So she's pulling it apart, and she's doing it really fast in broad daylight. She's stealing.
Oh man!
And she winds up going away with it. But it was so funny the way she puts it. You can find it on YouTube.
That's great.
Look up lady stealing skeleton.
I've seen a lot of people had those skeletons. They were very popular the last couple of years. There were
15 feet's big.
Yeah. You remember?
When I was riding to work and that, I'd see it over.
Right.
Yes,
When she would ride to work,
I used
The
to see
you could see them. I think the Trundle Manor had one out front
maybe
a
so.
few
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
they were cool.
the good thing about it is they're going to start showing up next year or something, or even this year in flea markets for half the price.
That's true.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of people sure bought them, and what are they going to do? They're just going to keep them, and then they're going to want to get rid of them.
Yeah, what are you
Right.
going to do with it? About maybe 8 years ago, I bought the Zoltar, which was a really cool one inside
Yeah.
the box, inside the actual plastic frame, and he was pretty cool. Once you push the button, the curtain opens up. It plays music. He sways from side to side, and he talks and everything. It even came with a microphone where you could switch it to a mic mode, and you could have somebody off in the other room, and they can talk, and his mouth will
I
move.
I wish
It
you
was really, really neat.
I wish
What
you,
happened to it?
yeah, I wish you wouldn't have told me about that, because that
Uh-oh.
Soltar, when it came out, it was $36, and I bought
Yeah,
one in Sam's Club. And yeah, it's big. It's about being a foot and a half by.
yeah,
It's a big
That's
item,
it.
and yes, it has the purple curtain. When you would press, it would go tring, something like that, like the Mystics.
right.
It would open up, and then the Soltar would move sideways and say,
Yeah, he was pretty cool, and it even played like a little strange music, and then his head would go from side to side. It'd say, "Welcome, this
"Welcome,
is
this is
our."
Soltar." Well,
Yeah.
I bought it, and I don't know what in my mind made me return it. Okay.
Oh
So
wow.
I took it back, and I got back my $36. And
Oh my
boy,
goodness.
now it's going for like 200-300. And I'm like, what?
Ye-
Oh,
I
that's
tell you what, that was one of the nicest things. I think it was
I can't
Jemmy.
believe you
I
took
think it
it
was
back.
Jemmy who made it, and that was one of the
Oh.
nicest things they ever made. It
Yeah.
really is.
I don't know why I actually, you know what? I think I returned it because it was a little bit too much on the astrology type of thing. And
Oh, I see what you
you know what
Right,
I'm
mean.
saying? I kind of did it for self reasons.
I
right.
And
understand. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then I kind of like, damn, I shouldn't have done it, because it really, really, the whole point is that was a unique item. And unfortunately, I don't have it with me anymore. I do have pictures with me on it, because, like I said, I had it, and I had it for about 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, you know what? I really don't collect any of this fortune telling stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
I
Right,
don't like.
decided to
right,
go up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to force myself to return it. And I did.
right.
And then after I
Proud of you.
did, a year or two went by, and I'm like, oh, what did I do? Especially.
Well, Chuck has one for sale.
Yeah, maybe
You can
sometime.
sell it.
We used to have spooky shows for the kids here. Like we'd have a Halloween.
Halloween party
Yeah,
once a
it was like
year,
a Halloween party once in a
annual.
year.
Yeah.
And I remember I put Zoltar on the table where the snacks were, and I put it into the mic mode. And I think a couple of kids were taking potato chips or something, and I said, "Hey, put that back." But then his mouth was
Yeah,
moving, and they freaked them out.
that's cute.
It was really funny. Yeah, it was really cool.
Uh-huh.
One, the thing I like the most about, mentioning Home Goods, is that Home Goods comes out with items, but it's usually one of a kind, or you'll see it.
Yeah,
Michael's has very nice villages, and they come.
right.
So
They got the best. They got the best little villages. If you're into that type of stuff, you could.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
I think they even had like a dark house where the little cars would go in and out. It looked really cool.
no,
Neat.
no, no, yeah, they do have very neat one. Then Department 56 makes
Right.
some really decent ones. They made the Haunted Mansion, but it's going for like 200 and something.
Hmm.
Mm.
One thing, they have one called House of Shadows, which
Ooh,
I kind of looked at that. It's basically a haunted house. It just shows each of the windows has like a shadow figure,
ooh,
Yeah.
neat.
Right.
and it looks kind of cool. And you can get it like for $55. It's like 79, but they're over 40% off or something like that. I
Uh-huh.
was contemplating that one, but I do have quite a few haunted houses right now.
Uh-huh.
Um, in fact, I have already where I probably don't know why I need another one, you know. But I don't know. I had considered it because it was a little different. But one thing I was going to tell you though, what you got to look forward. I mean, look, it's like sometimes Target comes out with this Universal Monster stuff. Like they did a few years ago, they were selling masks, and they were selling all this Frankenstein stuff that
Right.
bought. And their products are pretty good. And it's made by this. They have a company, a division called Eek,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
they make things. And one thing that they really, really surprised me. I mean, it's too late now because it's been already bombarded in the market. But about 3 or 4 years ago, somebody came out with a cat house that was a haunted house for cats. That thing sold out like crazy, man.
That's crazy.
And I was like, dang, it
Wow.
was only $30. And I'm like, wow, man, I wish I would have thought of that,
Yeah.
But it's already too late. Everybody's doing it,
That's man. I'd like to hear the noises on there. Probably. Meow, meow,
No,
meow.
it doesn't do anything. It's just a cardboard house that the cats would play in.
Would play in
It just
Oh,
basically think of it like those milk crates. It's
Yeah,
a box like that. It's painted with a haunted house. It's a square box. It doesn't have anything like that. And then it has on top of like a carpet where the scratch pad.
Oh, they could scratch
yeah,
their
that's
nails.
Yeah. So, but I did try to get one of the cat houses, and then when they were sold out. So when there was one that I found in Target made by Eek, and it was, believe it or not, like $17, and I was gonna buy it, and I'm like, you know what? It doesn't look as good as the one I saw on Amazon, so
Okay.
I didn't jump on it. But one thing I'm gonna say though, that was a good idea. And it's always something nice that people come up with, and they do it right before October, and then boof, they do a sellout,
That's true.
That's true. That's
good.
nice.
You can put it on your front porch for stray cats.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, right now it's kind of hard to come up with unique items anymore. It's
Oh,
Yeah.
somewhere, man.
Yep.
And now that you have this company called Wen and Wish and all this stuff, and you order this stuff at
Timu.
yeah, Timu.
Timu, well, that's the one I'm saying. Well, Wen is another one,
Yeah.
but Timu is, and I ordered a couple of stuff like for $17. I got like 11 items, man. Really nice.
I know. It's
Yeah,
a big deal.
Cheri's been getting a bunch of stuff from there. Oh my goodness,
And they ship it for free, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
They're from
it.
China. They ship it, and it comes pretty quick too.
It does come pretty quick.
It comes about a week and a half, if that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you know what you got to be careful with? You got to be careful with some of these companies, because I'll tell you what, a lot of people are selling on Amazon. They're selling on Instagram, and what they're doing, they're having Temu drop ship it for them. So they're adding a
those dirty
Now,
bugs.
I told you guys the story. My son-in-law decided that he wanted to get me a birthday present, right? So he gets me the creature. And now the creature, when they picture it in Temu, it looks like, he did it on Instagram. They actually picture him over a door. So it looks like you're getting a huge thing that's the size of the door.
Yeah.
So he pays, I think, $50-something for this thing. And when he got it, was the size of maybe 11 inches across. And it was made of foam, right? My brother saw the same creature. He bought it, but now my brother's is made of some type of hard plastic, which actually the arm broke off in the process. So he got it too. And I said, what you're actually getting, this are all either Temu. And the thing, when I saw it on Temu, I got confused too. And I thought it was the large one. And I ordered 4 of them, because I'm like, man, I've seen those at Chiller for like $125,
Oh my.
And when I got it, and they're knockoffs, they're not creatures from, when you look at the ad, you think it would be like I didn't realize it's a knockoff. And when I got it, it's like, okay, it's a creature, but it's not a licensed product.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're just, shooting them out of Japan, or China. Whatever.
Yeah.
So those are things you got to be on the lookout. In other words, if you see anything that you like in Instagram, go to Temu and see if you can see it for half the price.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
That's the
Like
point.
Shirts and pajamas and
Yeah.
real deals there. I love it.
They have one thing which I was going to buy last year and I didn't. It's only like $17-18. They had it on eBay for like $80. It's a pole that goes in the ground, and it's the Green Reaper, like riding a motorcycle.
Oh, really?
But you kind of stick it to the ground outside, and it's like a windsock. I don't know if you've seen it, Chuck. It's phenomenal, man.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, you look at it, and then the wind blows in, and it looks like the Green Reaper is riding a motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
And it's really nice. It's big too. It's like 5-6 feet. It's not a.
Wow.
And I saw it. I'm like, wow, that's like a unique item. Like I'm telling you, they're coming with these items that are so phenomenal.
Oh, I know, they're really stuff.
15-foot skeleton.
Oh.
How they kind of, this year, it's like you said, Chuck. It's not like last year where they came with all this new animated stuff. They do have. There's one that if you didn't get it in Big Lots, you should. It's a Green Reaper, not a Green Reaper. It's actually an outhouse. An outhouse. Like
I saw. Yeah, that was neat. Yeah.
With the mummy, and the mummy comes out and say, "Ooh,
yeah,
he died." But it's very unique, and for $19, it ain't a bad deal, Chuck.
That's not a bad price.
Yeah, I like Big Lots too.
Yeah, it's amazing how these companies come and go, though. Temu will probably disappear like in a year or two, it'll like fade into obscurity. What was the place you used to order years ago?
Wish.
No, prior to that,
Oh.
it was 2 words. It sounded like a name of a like a town or something. Remember where you'd buy shoes? You'd bought a bunch
Well,
of shoes.
Oh, no, 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 no.
well,
Newport News.
Newport
Those were
News.
kind of pricey.
Yeah, about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, Newport News
They
was it. I
disappeared.
mean, they just disappeared as suddenly as they came
now
into view.
Timu, believe it or not, Timu is not it's one of the companies. Wish is still there. Wish is very powerful.
They are,
And
yeah.
then there's another one that I can't remember right now, but it's mentioned a lot online for people to say, become a wholesaler, become a reseller.
Oh, that might be LI
Ally
Express.
Yeah,
Express.
Eli Eli, is it Eli or
ALI. Ally.
LA.
AliExpress they call it.
Yeah.
AliExpress.
And they're very big. They're kind of the same thing as Temu and all that. The thing with Temu is that Temu's trying to beat the thing by giving you discount coupons and free shipping and on everything.
Yeah, they always got that thing on there where you could spin the wheel.
And they give it. So technically, the way it works is everything they sell, they try to spin the wheel. They give you another $15, $125 if you this much, and they're really generating a lot of money. So to be honest, they're making millions because
right.
Oh, you know what? You can buy professional magic tricks, especially on LI Express. I mean, for like maybe 1/4 of what you'd pay in a magic.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean? I mean, where the heck was this place 35 years ago? 40 years ago.
And you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to really mention what it is, but you remember those little boxes I got, the metal ones?
Yeah,
I don't know what the trick is, but they were. I mean, are you kidding me? Over here, they were like, and whatever. So they're very good. There's also another place called Xing Ling, I think it is, with magic. But the problem with them, they're from China. They do sell all magic. So they sell them at very good prices, but then the shipping on it is prohibitive, crazy. Man.
Yeah,
like the shipping would be 50. So I don't know if they fixed that issue, but
yeah, there was a few places I bought a few things from a few years ago, like I think it's Area 52 or something like that. And you know what, the magic trick itself was very nice. It was very reasonable, but the shipping on some of the bigger props was like $75, maybe $100. It was crazy. So that right away I said, forget it.
Yeah. That I think, but I'm sure that they fixed that because I think what it is China's trying to infiltrate America the more it can. So they're working with that free shipping because the free shipping is not obviously coming out of the United States because if you ship something to China, it's expensive. It's more like leaving China. I think China's really charging them very little because to offer free shipping for all those products is
that's crazy.
Imagine,
which in a sense is kind of cool because you can get a lot of those stuff. Like I said, if you look at the Halloween lineup that they have in that stuff, they have some crazy gadgets.
Yeah, they do.
That do that bell that rings itself that you adapted it to one of your magic tricks last year that was so
that was
Barrel.
Right.
I don't know. Right. I haven't seen Cracker Barrel's lineup for this year. Sometimes Cracker Barrel's very simple, or they get very elaborate in what they sell. I usually like to check out Target, Walmart, Cracker Barrel, Big Lots, and I go usually as soon as things are coming out. I take a ride and I see what's new and what I need to get or what I don't. Sometimes it's so cool I have to jump on it right there, so I'm paying top price. But I've noticed that Big Lots, Marshalls, and Home Goods, not Home Goods really, Home Goods not yet, but Big Lots usually likes to sell things at 30% off the going price. So it's a seasonal product. It's Halloween. It's still 2 months away, but they started selling stuff at 30% off.
Right.
And that's a big thing because, I mean, you don't have to wait until after Halloween to get it at 40, 50 or whatever. Because by that time, sometimes when the products are there, they're either damaged or, you know what I'm saying? Or you might get lucky to find one, but it all depends. Now, I really still think that Target has an advantage over a lot of that stuff because Target has made quite a few different little items that are.
It seems like their stuff is more quality made.
Right.
Too.
Even if you go in the front where they have the $3 and $5 items.
Right.
Yeah.
They're pretty I mean, the quality is really good on it. I'm kind of surprised,
Yeah. Last year I bought a couple of plastic candelabras and I put them on my magic
they were
tables.
not bad.
Yeah, battery operated for like $2 or $3. They were nice.
Yeah, and that's right. And also like Walmart. Walmart gets, I'm big into the sound effects, and I used to love the CDs and the haunted house sound effects and stuff
We
like
did.
that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, they
I
are.
actually count. I think I had like 62 sound effect CDs,
Oh, wow.
different ones, and I have over maybe I don't know 40 or 50 different record albums, vinyls that are different haunted
Yeah.
houses. I do have about 21 or 22 of the same sounds of the haunted house from Walt Disney.
Yeah, we just had a few of those years ago when we used to
Yeah.
pass candy out. I used to
He
play.
used to play it. It
I
was
had
so
I had
cool.
one from Hallmark, uh,
Yeah.
and they were really cool. It was a really good one. It was
Is that the one that played Michael Jackson, the
yeah.
thriller,
The one side played Michael Jackson Thriller. The other side played Change
and
Rattling.
give ghosts and the
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
yeah,
Like
with
there
the
was a witch that
voices.
said, "Don't go in there." I wouldn't go in
And
there.
they were scared.
Yeah, it was
Those
really cool.
kids would not come up
Yeah,
there.
the kids
They
wouldn't
were
even come up the
scared.
steps. They were so scared. It was funny.
And you had a table with a hand that would grab if they went to get the candy.
Yeah,
That was so
it
cute.
You
was
know,
neat.
Battery operated.
one of the things is, and bringing up sound effects, as you guys know, for Chiller, I'm preparing to bring back the original haunting record. The haunting, and I've done the artwork. Everything's already completed.
So cool.
Richard Hilliard has been in charge of doing that.
Yes.
The thing that's happened though is that really gets me mad about that is that there's a 14 to 16 week waiting for the pressing of the records,
Oh
which
Oh.
my.
means it's impossible. I kind of placed the order about a week or two ago, and it's gonna be here like in November, the end of November. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna probably do I'm working on how I'm gonna do it, but either take pre-orders in Chiller,
Oh,
or
you
we're
can do
gonna do one
that.
of those startup things. I think in
That's not
Kickstarter.
yet. Yeah.
Kickstarter, I'm gonna have to launch it there so that the pre-orders are paid for and everything. But that's the only thing that's bad is that it takes so long to press one.
Right.
Oh.
Not press one, but because you're getting so many copies, and that's what the problem is. If you get an individual copy, you're gonna pay like $15-20 for the album,
Right.
and I'm gonna be selling them for $20. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you got to press a lot of them now. That's I mean, something cool, because as we know, when we were growing up, records were a big thing, sound effects were a big thing. Johnson Smith always sold their haunted record, and for some reason they were harder to come by. It's not like it's kind of like when back a few years ago, before the internet and stuff, or when the internet was in its early stages. Television, you had so many channels, and you had to watch what's there, so the entire country was in tune with what was going on. If you said, did you watch I Love Lucy? Oh yeah, they're playing it on channel 12. They're playing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Nowadays everybody's got so many different channels,
Oh
and
my
so
word.
many different of those streaming services, that you can tell people, do you know this? And they go, no, who's that? I never heard of it. Do you know Elvis Presley? Who's
Exactly.
Elvis Presley? It's kind of sad, because at the same
Yeah.
time we've built such a great report, but that we have all this stuff we can look at, but at the same time there's nothing unique anymore.
No, that's true.
You can have a trend come out and have 2 million people, 10 million people follow it, and half of the country don't know what the heck the trend was. Then you'll go
You're right. Everything
now.
expanded so much.
But let's say, a good example. Let's talk about something that, and I want to bring it up now because it's a hilarious thing that happened. And I'll start the story. And Chuck, I asked you to look up some of the information on it,
Yes. Yes.
because I think it's one of the funniest. In fact, when I was reading the initial story, I spent 3 days thinking and reminiscing on the story and laughing on it. Now, there was a guy when he was in his, 5 or 6 years old. He always wanted to be a pilot. So as he grew up older, he joined, I think it was the Army or Air Force. But
Hmm.
because of his vision being not that great, he was never given a pilot's license. And the only thing he did, he served in Vietnam as a cook. So coming back, he devised a plan, which was, I mean, I don't know what the heck even bought him or gave him the idea, but I mean, it's just funny the way in which he carried it out. Back when he was around 12 or 11 or 12, he stopped in Army and Navy store with his parents, and he seen this big giant weather balloons tied outside the Navy store in each corner. He was attracted to it. So when he turned into his into his mid-30s, which I think was April of 1982. And Chuck, we're going to ask you for the exact time and stuff, and you can elaborate. I'm just bringing in what the
Yes.
story is about. They nicknamed him Lawn Chair Larry, and the reason they call him Lawn Chair Larry is because he went to Sears, and I think I wasn't sure if it was $110 or something. He purchased an aluminum lawn chair, lawn chair, and he decided that if he tethered the lawn chair to his Jeep, he would put, he didn't do one or two, he actually inflated a total of 42 weather balloons.
Unbelievable.
He tied them to the aluminum chair, and he tied 12 gallons of water to kind of keep it afloat. And then he climbed on top of his girlfriend's house and sat on the chair with a sandwich. He took, I think, some beers and a 2-liter Coke and a CB radio, which he used. When I'm saying CB radio, it's a walkie-talkie. So it was a CB walkie-talkie. And at that time, those radios had like 23 channels, I think. And what he did with the naturally, it might have been 40 channels because it was in 82. So in the 70s. So
Right.
him and the girlfriend, they decided to communicate through the radio. And what his plan was is that I think he was going to cut off the tether line from the Jeep. And he was going to figure he'd fly about 100 feet off the ground. He had an altimeter so he could see how high he was flying. And he was going to phone it in through the CB radio to the FAA. I don't know what the stunt was. I think his stunt was just that he was going to tell him, look, I'm flying on weather balloons.
Yeah.
He was supposed to go through the Mojave Desert. So in the process between the girlfriend, and you can see an actual live video of that, because I think it was being filmed by some friends, one of the lines broke. So when it breaks, you can hear the girlfriend saying, hey, where are you going? Hey, come back. And he started floating upwards. Instead of going towards the Mojave Desert, he went towards LAX Airport in California. LAX Airport. And he he was reaching altitudes of, I think, 1,000 feet a minute or a second.
Crazy.
And he went a total of 16,000 feet.
16,000 feet.
So when he was up all the way up there, I believe one of the pilots from Delta Airlines radio it into the tower.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, but the funny thing about it is, the guy is at 16,000 feet. He's freezing. It's super cold out there. And the idiot had taken up with him a BB gun so that he could shoot out the balloons and lose altitudes while he was up there. So they were thinking it was like some type of UFO because they saw a small bleep in the radar for like the last hour or two. Not hour, but for the last couple of minutes, they kept seeing a blip. So they asked one of the pilots, I think, can you identify the UFO? And he said, no, it's not a UFO. It's a UFI. And they said, clear that or repeat, UFI. And he said, it's an unidentified flying idiot, and it was hilarious because the guy is up there. Now he was scared. So he's really like terrified. His mustache flattering up in the wind.
Yeah, he had a big honking mustache. He must have been. Oh my goodness.
No, and he's up there and he's like saying, "Hey." So he calls in to one of the towers or something, and he said, "I want to report an unauthorized balloon launch."
Unbelievable. That was hilarious.
So,
Eddie called me up laughing about a week ago, and he told me about this. And I think I do remember this when it happened. That was the year I graduated
So
high
what was
school.
the ending? Did he get down okay?
Yeah, he did manage to get down okay, barely, I guess. And he got fined. I did bring it up. Did you want me to read about this, Eddie?
I do want you to read it, but before, what actually happened on that is he mustered the strength to, because he figured if he popped the balloons, he might be off balance and fall. You're 16,000 feet in the air. So what he did is he finally got the nerve. He started popping some of the balloons, and then he dropped the BB gun. And when he dropped it, I forget exactly how he managed, but when he did come down, he came down faster than he thought he was going to, and he got stranded on some power lines and caused the town to lose power for about 20 minutes. And then the police, of course, got him. They came over the TV or whatever it was that they were gonna, they had him under arrest. They were gonna charge him. As of that moment, they didn't know what to charge him with because
Right.
he didn't really break any rules. So what they did is they fined him like $4,000, but it wound up finishing off that they only charged him, I believe, 1,500 because they got him for flying in unrestricted airspace, but there was nothing about that said you couldn't fly in a chair. But anyway, it's hilarious. Go ahead, Chuck. Take it away.
Okay, yeah. I brought this up online here, so for the listeners out there, it says on July 2nd, 1982, Larry Walters made a 45-minute flight in a homemade aerostat made of an ordinary patio chair and 45 helium-filled weather balloons. The aircraft rose to an altitude of about 16,000 feet, drifted from the point of liftoff in San Pedro, California, and entered controlled airspace near Long Beach Airport. During the landing, the aircraft became entangled in power lines, but Walters was able to climb safely down. The flight attracted worldwide media attention, inspired a movie, and numerous
really?
imitators. Now, it says the background Lawrence Richard, also known as Larry Walters, had often dreamed of flying, but was unable to become a pilot in the United States Air Force because he had poor eyesight. His first thought of using weather balloons to fly at age 13 after seeing them hanging from the ceiling of a military supply store. He had a career as a truck driver. In 1982, he decided to try to fly his flying idea. His intention was to float over the Mojave Desert and then use a pellet gun to burst some of the balloons in order to land.
Jeez.
The preparation of the flight. In mid 1982, Walters and his girlfriend at the time, Carol Van Dusen, purchased 45 8-foot weather balloons obtained helium tanks from California Toy Time Balloons. They used a forged registration from his employer, saying the balloons were for a television commercial. On July 2nd, 1982, Walters attached 43 of the balloons to his lawn chair, filled them with helium, put on a parachute, and, and strapped himself onto the chair in the backyard of his home on West 7th Street in San Pedro, California. He took his pellet gun, a CB radio, sandwiches, beer, and a camera. When the cord that tied his lawn chair to his Jeep broke prematurely before a planned delay to notify authorities, Walter's lawn chair rose rapidly to a height of about 16,000 feet. And spotted by two commercial airliners, he slowly drifted over Long Beach and crossed the primary approach corridor of Long Beach Airport. He was in contact with REACT, a citizens band radio monitoring organization, who recorded their conversation. REACT said, "What information do you wish me to tell the airport at this time as to your location and your difficulty?" Larry, the difficulty is this was an unauthorized balloon launch, and I know I'm in federal airspace, and I'm sure my ground crew has alerted the proper authority, but
Get me out of here.
just call them and tell them that I'm okay. REACT, well, stay safe and try not to shut it up. After 45 minutes in the sky, Walters shot down several balloons, taking care not to unbalance the load. He then accidentally dropped his pellet gun overboard. He descended slowly until the balloons' dangling cables got caught in a power line at 423 East 44th Way in Long Beach. The power line broke, causing a 20-minute electricity blackout. He landed unharmed on the ground.
Wow.
The aftermath. Walters was immediately arrested by waiting members of the Long Beach Police Department. Regional Safety Inspector Neil Savoy was reported to have said, "We know he broke some part of the Federal Aviation Act. As soon as we decided which part it is, some type of charge will be filed." Uh, if he had a pilot license, would suspend that, but he doesn't.
Wow.
Walters initially was fined $4,000 for violations under U.S. federal aviation regulations, including operating an aircraft within an airport traffic area without establishing and maintaining two-way communications with the control tower. Walters appealed, and the fine was reduced to $1,500. A charge of operating a civil aircraft for which there is not currently in effect an airworthiness certificate was dropped. as it was not applicable to his class of aircraft.
which was a lounge chair.
Yeah, which was yeah. So you know what? And it said that he inspired several other people throughout the
Well,
years.
he actually inspired. One of the things he did is he inspired a balloon sport. They actually do that today, and they tie balloons and they fly up in chairs. So that's actually a sport that's going on.
Amazing.
Oh
He
my.
inspired the Disney movie, I think, was Up and Away. But the thing that just kept, like I'm saying, is when you hear one of his interviews, he says how scared he was, and it makes me laugh because of the big pumpkin mustache that Charlie.
Yeah, I could picture his face
And
up there.
he's
That would
probably up
be.
there going, "Oh, oh."
And it said it. You know what? It says too that 10 days after his
Oh.
flight, Walters appeared on Late Night with David Letterman.
Look at him. He's a famous.
He was briefly in demand as a motivational speaker.
Look at that.
And quit his job as a truck
There
driver.
you go.
He was featured in the Timex print in the early 1990s, but never made much money from his fame.
Aw.
The lawn chair used in the flight was reportedly given to an admiring boy named Cheri. Though Walters regretted doing so when the Smithsonian Institution asked him to donate it to the museum. 20 years later, Cheri sent an email to Mark Berry, a pilot who had documented Walters' story and dedicated a website to it and identified himself. The chair was still sitting in his garage, attached to some of the original tethers and water jugs used as ballast. The chair was placed on loan to the San Diego Air and Space Museum, where it was exhibited in 2014. It was later donated to the Smithsonian. Oh, that's good. And is now on display at the
Nice.
Stephen F. Udvar Hazy Center in Virginia.
Nice.
Well, that's
Yeah.
cool.
It's called. I don't know if that thing 20 year there was a correct. I think that they mistaken that, because what happened is, the sad part of the story is that, I guess in 1982, we have television. We don't really have the internet. We don't have
Right.
social media. So a lot of the people in the East Coast didn't hear of it. They probably saw it in commercials. But the reason for that is because whatever happened in your area would be basically, it stayed in your area. If you had news in New York City of something happening,
Right.
California didn't really get that news, and vice versa. And we did get all the things from California, of course, like all the famous TV shows. But because of that, he quit his truck driving position, and I think I don't know if he volunteers as a forest ranger or he did something forestry. But 10 years later, at the age of 44, according to the some of the things I've read, is while he was working in the woods, he took a gun and he put it to his chest and killed himself.
Yeah.
It's a sad ending, and he died at 44. So
Yeah, it's a
that's what
shame.
I'm saying. If he went up to the sky in his 30s, in 82,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
you couldn't wait 20 years to donate, unless it was the girlfriend or something. But you could see a picture online of the launch chair. Now, it's funny that a lot of people don't know about it. If you're a pilot, you know the story. But it's kind of what made me laugh is I kept thinking of Bugs Bunny going up in the balloon, how they always take those balloons and they go up there.
Yeah.
I mean, for a real, a person, I thought at first when I read that, I said, was this a joke? I mean, it's a real story, and I couldn't believe it was actually a real story.
I tell you what, I'm afraid of heights. I mean, I'm first to admit it, and I couldn't imagine going up 100 feet, 1,600 feet. I would be unconscious. I would
16,000.
16,000 feet. Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
was it
16,000, and
oh my!
the
Goodness.
reason it was six, because that's how the airplane saw him. He was flying. He was flying through the airplane. He's flying higher than the planes.
Yeah.
There's one part, because you can actually see the video of when he's going up, and the girlfriend's like, "You better come back. You better," And he's just going up the sky there, and then you can hear one of the actual recordings they have. If you Google it, you'll find all this information. It's all over the internet. Off the, like they said, it was 42 weather balloons. Then they added 45. I think it was 42, because I read 42 in several.
Yeah.
But when he was up there, it says one of the airline pilots from Delta, another guy, said at 10:45 o'clock or something like that, out my window, there's a man in a chair.
That's cool.
With balloons attached to it, So I could imagine the people in the plane, and they're still alive today. I get 80% of them probably still are. And they're just like saying, wait, you better are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah. Wow.
You know, the people in that plane must have been like, I know the pilot must have said, "Did I have a drink today?" You know.
Yeah.
And this brings us back to another thing. If you guys remember a few weeks ago, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, we bought, and we actually brought it up. Joe was on, and we mentioned that in the same airport in California, a pilot had said that they had seen a man flying on a jet belt, a
No.
jetpack. Do you guys
Wow.
you remember that, Chuck? We mentioned that.
I think I do remember you
Yeah,
saying
and
that.
they came out, and then apparently a couple of weeks later, it was found out that the person they were seeing, because you know the thing it was I think at 3,000 feet. Now the problem that any known jetpack only goes like, I don't know, 500-600 feet in the air,
Right.
and the only jetpack that I know that they invented back in the 50s has like a 10 or 40 90-second flight
Mm.
time, so it doesn't fly for that long. But the thing I was going to say about it is that there's a kite that they were selling a few years ago online, which it looks like Superman or something. It's shaped like Superman, and it flies and is radio control, and you know they were selling for like $500, and they said it was one of those kites that are actually the jetpack person was unless they're hiding something, but they
Mm-hmm.
did mention that it was that's what it was. But I guess for some reason the conclusion of the story is that the people around that airport are nuts. I mean,
Yeah. Really.
I mean, to try to fly, because that's the same airport. California is the only one I think of that I know of right now. And I'm not saying it's the only airport that they ever saw suspicious things flying like that, like people doing crazy things. But
Yeah.
I think that's the only place in the country you have a nutcake that will do something like that. I
Yeah.
mean, when you think about it, you know what it is to sit in a chair, especially when you know, I mean, not one or two or three, but come on, man, those balloons are between 8 and 10 feet in diameter.
Yeah.
Filled with helium, you're going to attach 42 weather balloons. Now,
Wow.
weather balloons will go up to 16, 20,000 feet in the air before they level off. They expand and they get like 3 times the size, and then eventually they come back down to earth. They're used every day by meteorologist companies. Um, I have in my arsenal, I have about 5 or 6, maybe 7 weather balloons.
Uh-oh. Get out the
Um,
already.
I used to actually sell them in the early 80s in mail order. I had them, and I used to sell them, I think, for $10 each. They used to cost like $3, $4 a piece. And I know I have a 16-foot weather balloon. I have like 1 or 2 8 feet weather balloons, and I have a couple of 10 feet weather balloons.
Oh.
I mean, to inflate that, you gotta have like you gotta be a hippopotamus and be able to blow them up because they're super thick. You definitely can't do it with your mouth.
No
Yeah.
way.
And it makes me wonder how the heck these people with the helium thing were able to fill it up because
Wow.
the balloon is super thick,
Uh-huh.
and I mean they're huge. And I used to buy them from a company in California. I wonder, you know, it sounded like the name of the company you mentioned. It was a party supply, and I used to buy them to resell them.
Right.
Now, I probably sold, I think, 3 in my lifetime back in the day. This is probably 87, 88. I sold them, I think, in Boys Life magazine. Johnson Smith company, and I think Honor House sold them only in the 1940s in their catalogs. They never sold them online and stuff, but the Johnson Smith catalog always had them, and they were very popular in
Mm-hmm.
the Captain Company and back of Famous Monsters of Filmland. You could always see a guy standing next to says balloon weather balloons 10 feet
Yeah.
tall.
I think I remember the ads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they were people would buy them all the time. And let me be honest, man, they look really cool when you get those big giant weather balloons and you know you're gonna launch up something into space. But then again, I mean, I don't know what the laws and regulations are concerning a lot of them. But
Well, Larry was lucky he survived that, and
Amen.
I mean, going up 16,000 feet, and then when he came down, he broke a power line. I mean, come on,
yeah,
this
but here's the thing, Chuck,
wow.
that it doesn't specify. I read something that he kept losing ballast. Well, ballast is what weighs him down. So how can he get rid of ballast to come down? So he popped only a few balloons
Mm-hmm.
before the gun fell off his hand and dropped
Right.
to the ground. So the question is, two things are here. One is, how did he really come down? Like, I don't know if I looked online and they don't really explain Did he manage to pull them by hand and maybe pop the balloons one at a time?
Maybe.
Did he just came down because of the weight after he popped 2 or 3 of them?
Right.
I'm not sure. But the other thing also is, and it came into my mind a couple of times, where the heck did that BB gun land?
Yeah, right.
If that was found today, that would probably be worth a nice buck on eBay, you know.
Oh yeah, Larry, the lawn steer Larry's BB gun. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm sure it's or either it's on top of some tree, rotted out by rust by now, you know.
Yeah.
But that landed somewhere in the vicinity. I wonder if somebody ever found it, you know, and they just maybe say, "Hey, this gun almost hit me in the head. Where did you come from?" You know.
It's a shame somebody didn't
maybe
say Larry's mustache. Larry.
Maybe a little kid always want. Yeah, it might have. Maybe some little kid always wanted one. One fell and goes, "Oh, one fell from heaven." Oh.
Oh man.
But I'm not sure. Listen, guys, we're getting close there, so we have about 4 minutes to go.
Okay.
I'm going to give myself a couple of minutes here. So I wanted now that we talked about that story with Larry, which I was laughing in the background here because I really couldn't help it. I keep thinking of the guy just going up, and because you can hear it on the radio where he goes, "Oh."
That's hilarious.
So he probably kept screaming as he went up, and in shock that he got that high up. They was probably saying, "Am I going to get to the end of the earth?" You know. But what I wanted to bring also up is that I've had my brother and me have been discussing because Jason Blakely was also assisting in figuring out a way to improve the House of the Unusual website. Now, what we're contemplating and doing is a one-page site, and the forum that I put up a few weeks ago, it's been great and stuff, but I noticed that I guess forums are not as exciting as people want. A lot of people go in, they post, and they just don't have the time to come back on.
Right.
And so what I've decided that I'm going to do is we're working on a website that's going to be static, and this will probably go up in the next 3 to 4 days. It's going to be a static website, which when you come on, it's going to have House of the Unusual on top. You scroll down, it's going to have like 6 or 4 to 6 boxes. It's going to have each of us photographed and our story in each of the box. You scroll down just an inch or two from there, and it's going to be the store of products. Mm-hmm. It's going to have a couple of boxes or a link directly to a page in the site. That's going to be all the products I sell on eBay, Etsy. Everything's going to be mashed into one thing instead of you having to go to Etsy or eBay. You'll be able to get it there. And talking about airplanes, one is just passing above. Maybe it's Larry's ghost is floating. He took a helicopter this time. But anyway, the thing I was going to say is, as you scroll down a little bit more right after the initial thing, we're going to have a link to the podcast, and there's going to be a link to a blog. Now, the reason I prefer going with the blog is I don't want to eliminate any postings altogether, but the blog, at least people can post a story and people can read it. It doesn't have to be where people are going to come back constantly to it. This way we don't build too much, because people want to buy products. People want to, but for some reason, forums and blogs are not they're actually on their way out, because people found that it's easier to actually, I guess, go on social media, TikTok. We're going to have right there where the blog is, we're going to have a link to our TikTok. We're going to go on Instagram. And I'm trying to get those areas, which I know, Chuck, you already have one. The Black Magician, is it called? The Dark Magician?
The Dark Magician.
And
there's some funny stuff. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you got quite a few things going there, and we want to build that to a social media the way. And then at the very bottom, of course, there will always be a sign-up link for you to join our mailing list. So we're working on this new site. I think it should be finished. Like I said, it's already done. It's just we need to tweak it, And my brother, he's got a couple of his IT people in his, because as I mentioned before, he owns a research clinic in Florida, and he's actually helping me launch this. Okay. So you're going to see some difference. I hope whoever's listening, they will log into the website and they'll be. So other saying, other than that, guys, have a great time. Next time we're going to have some changes in our podcast. God bless, and tune in because there's some exciting changes coming in 2 weeks from now.
Sounds good.
Again, Wednesday. It comes in on Wednesday mornings at actually Thursday mornings at 3:30 a.m. is when the new show will be launched. Okay.
All righty.
Good night there.
Take care.
everybody.
bless.
God bless.
God bless.